Everybody has to pay taxes. Even businessmen that rob and steal and cheat from people every day, even they have to pay taxes.
Taxes! The finger thing means to taxes!
6:55. You have issues with the Revenue Service, with the Internal Revenue Service? Are those letters piling up on the credenza again? Well, don't hesitate. Don't Get Frantic. Call this guy. He's the host of Don't Get Frantic every Saturday morning. 7 a.m. It's Paul Francetic from Francetic Tax Resolution. Paul, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, don't get frantic. Call this guy. He's going to help you out. IRS has been a busy entity lately. This morning, the big topic, we're going to talk about record keeping, which is something I think a lot of people aspire to. Maybe they're not so good at doing it, but we're going to talk about keeping records, especially business owners. Let's get into that a little bit, Paul.
Yeah, Bill. So I have this unfortunate case. The husband and wife are running a business, and the wife was tragically killed in an auto accident at the end of last year. She was keeping all the books for the husband, and he was the business, running the business, excellent at doing that part. And then now he's just kind of in the dark. I'm trying to catch up on 8 years of income tax returns with the state, sales and use tax returns, withholding tax returns for payroll, and then hopefully I asked him, was your wife keeping any records? And he was kind of silent. He says, well, no, we were just kind of writing stuff on paper and just putting it in an envelope. And so this is a huge deal because we're talking about $20,000 plus in penalties and interest just because so many returns are going to be late and they're going to owe tax on them, and it's just unfortunate. Like I said, a spouse is working with in the business, so it's a very big deal if you're working together, husband and wife. That you got to keep each other in the loop because, like I said, this guy was totally clueless. It's a pretty sad situation what's going on with this client right now.
So, how do you begin as Paul Francetic and Francetic Tax Resolution? How do you begin to tackle that mountain?
Well, fortunately, I was able to get business bank statements for the last 7 years. So I got all those downloaded. So my brother John's, he helps me in the business. He's got a big accounting background, so he's going, transaction by transaction right now, putting each transaction in QuickBooks right now, so we can kind of build up the, get the income and expenses, somewhat correct for the tax returns, and then. Yeah, it's a very slow process. So it's just like I said, it's very they're going to have to pay us a lot of money to do this. Where if you hired a professional at the beginning to keep tabs on everything, it would cost you a lot less at that time. Just because we're under the gun right now, the state's clamoring for these tax returns. They gave us a 30-day window here to get some of this stuff done in, and I got to call them again in 30 days to tell them what the progress is and how much more time I'm going to need to get this done. So it's just just kind of a huge mess right now. It shouldn't be this big of a mess if you're running the business correctly.
So I guess lesson learned here, Paul, if you're a business person, boy, if you're not keeping everybody in the loop, and probably a good idea to make sure you have a good accountant right at the get-go so you don't wind up in a situation like this.
Yeah, for sure. The wife put she filed a couple of personal returns. She didn't realize she got to file the business returns too, I guess. And then she just had the husband, sign your name here. And typically it's the other way around. Typically the husband's running everything, and he just has the wife put her John Hancock on the return. She has no clue what's going on until something like this happens, or there's a big audit or whatever like that, and she signed her name to something she didn't know what she was signing her name to. So this is a big deal, like I said, especially for husband and wife. Businesses, you got to stay on top of this from the beginning to avoid something like this. That's just a complete nightmare right now for the client.
Well, not only businesses, but personal accounts too. Married couples oftentimes don't know if one person is doing the financials, the other person doesn't know anything about it. It's good to kind of be on the same page with both husband and wife. Both spouses keeping in the loop. It's just generally a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. And this even basic stuff, passwords, if you got online accounts, the credit cards and bank statements. Just the hassle to go through and try to, get stuff like that. If, when something happens to one or the other, if one person